4-2-1 solution A. 5. Consider the following statements. 1. The color of the ocean depends on the absorption and scattering of light. 2. When the sunlight falls on deep and clear water, colors with shorter wavelengths are absorbed by the water molecules and which have a much longer wavelength are reflected back. 3. In some parts the oceans appear green due to the existence of phytoplankton on the upper surface of the water. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 2 is incorrect. In most regions across the world, the oceans appear blue or navy blue for a reason. This happens due to the absorption and scattering of light, according to a report by NASA. When the sunlight falls on deep and clear water, colors with longer wavelengths, such as red, yellow, and green, are absorbed by the water molecules, but blue and violet, which have a much shorter wavelength, are reflected back. When sunlight hits the ocean, some of the light is reflected back directly, but most of it penetrates the ocean surface and interacts with the water molecules that it encounters. The red, orange, yellow, and green wavelengths of light are absorbed so that the remaining light we see is composed of the shorter wavelength blues and violets. But when the water isn't deep or clean, an ocean can appear to be of a different color. For instance, along Argentina's coastline, where major rivers merge into the Atlantic Ocean, the ocean exudes a brown tint because of dead leaves and sediment spewing from the rivers. In other parts of the world, the oceans appear green, which happens due to the existence of phytoplankton on the upper surface of the water. Source. 6. Consider the following statements. 1. The ocean over regions with high concentrations of phytoplankton will appear blue-green to green, depending upon the type and density of the phytoplankton population there. 2. Phytoplankton are microscopic marine algae that contain chlorophyll. 3. Chlorophyll absorbs the green portions of the light spectrum. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. 13. Phytoplankton are microscopic marine algae that contain the green colored pigment chlorophyll. The pigment helps them absorb sunlight, which they use to capture carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and convert it into sugars. Moreover, chlorophyll absorbs the red and blue portions of the light spectrum, or photosynthesis, and reflects green light. So, the ocean over regions with high concentrations of phytoplankton will appear as certain shades, from blue-green to green, depending upon the type and density of the phytoplankton population there. Source. 7. Consider the following statements regarding green manures. 1. Green manures are crops grown specifically for maintaining soil fertility and structure. 2. Growing green manure can curtail the consumption of chemical fertilizer to a large extent by 25 to 30%. 3. Green manure increases the soil pH level. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. Green manures are crops grown specifically for maintaining soil fertility and structure. They are normally incorporated back into the soil, either directly or after removal and composting. There are 3 main varieties of green manure, including ginger, cowpeats, and hemp. Also some crops such as summer moon, mash pulses, and guar act as green manure. Punjab's per hectare fertilizer consumption, which is around 244 kilograms, is one of the highest in the country and is also higher than the national average. Growing green manure can curtail this consumption to a large extent by 25 to 30% and can save huge input costs for the farmers. Also, even the pH level of the soil in several parts of the state is more than 8.5 and 9%, and green manure is beneficial to maintain it at the required level, which is 7%. 8. Consider the following statements regarding Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC). 1. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) was established by the World Meteorological Organization (WMO) and the UN Environment Programme (UNEP). 2. The IPCC produces comprehensive assessment reports that are considered the most authoritative source of scientific knowledge on climate change. 3. So far, IPCC has released more than 10 assessment reports. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. Established in 1988 by the World Meteorological Organization (WMO) and the UN Environment Programme (UNEP), the IPCC produces comprehensive assessment reports that are considered the most authoritative. 14. Source of scientific knowledge on climate change. So far, it has released 6 ARs. The final synthesis report of the 6th AR came out in March 2023, and with the latest elections, the body has initiated a new cycle of producing the next AR. Source. 9. Consider the following statements regarding Sargasso Sea. 1. The Sargasso Sea is located entirely within the Pacific Ocean. 2. It is bounded by 4 ocean currents forming an ocean gyre. 3. It is the only sea without a land boundary. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 1 is incorrect. The Sargasso Sea, located entirely within the Atlantic Ocean, is the only sea without a land boundary. It is bounded by 4 ocean currents forming an ocean gyre. It is distinguished from other parts of the Atlantic Ocean by its characteristic brown sargassum seaweed and often calm blue water. The sea is bounded on the west by the Gulf Stream, on the north by the North Atlantic Current, on the east by the Canary Current, and on the south by the North Atlantic Equatorial Current, the 4 together forming a clockwise circulating system of ocean currents termed the North Atlantic Gyre. 10. Which of the following animal is often referred to as the ghost of the mountains? A. Himalayan tahr. B. Clouded leopard. C. Snow leopard. D. Tiger. Solution C. Snow leopard, often referred to as ghost of the mountains because of its coat that helps it blend in a snow-white rocky environment. 11. Consider the following statements regarding Himalayan vultures. 1. The Himalayan vulture is a common winter migrant to the Indian plains. 2. It is categorized as near threatened on the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) Red List. 3. In India, there are no instances of captive breeding of Himalayan vultures. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. 15. Researchers have recorded the first instance of captive breeding of the Himalayan vulture, Gypsy malensis, in India at the Assam State Zoo, Guwahati. Categorized as near threatened on the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) Red List of threatened species, the Himalayan vulture is a common winter migrant to the Indian plains and a resident of the high Himalayas. The conservation breeding of the Himalayan vulture at Guwahati Zoo is the second such instance in the world, after France, where the species has been bred in captivity. 4. Vulture Conservation Breeding Center (BCBC), established by Bombay Natural History Society (BNHS) at Pinjore in Haryana, Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh, Rani in Assam, and Rajabhat in West Bengal, are involved in conservation breeding of the white-rumped vulture, Gyps bengalensis, slender-billed vulture, Gyps tenurostrus, and the Indian vulture, Gyps indicus. Source. 12. Consider the following statements. 1. As per the latest tiger census, Karnataka has the highest number of tigers. 2. Madhya Pradesh accounts for maximum number of tiger reserves in India. 3. In India, the tiger census report is prepared by the Wildlife Institute of India (WI) and the National Tiger Conservation Authority. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 1 is incorrect. Tiger census report prepared by the Wildlife Institute of India (WI), Dehradun, and the National Tiger Conservation Authority. India has 53 tiger reserves, with MP accounting for 6 of them. While the state has the most tigers, the most populous reserves are the Corbett National Park (CNP) Uttarakhand, followed by the Bandipur and Nagauli reserves in Karnataka. Source. 13. Which of the following are considered as important prey species for tigers in the wild? 1. Barasingha. 2. Cheetal. 3. Go select the correct answer code. A. 1 2. B. 1 3. C. 2 3. D. 1 2 3. Solution D. The Forest Department of Madhya Pradesh has demonstrated remarkable commitment and success in active management practices. They have effectively restored low density areas through incentivize voluntary village relocations, trace supplementation, reintroduction of species such as Barasingha, swamp deer to new habitats like Satpura and Bandhavgarh, and the reintroduction of Gaur to Bandhavgarh and Sanjay Dubey tiger reserves. 16. Prey species like cheetal, spotted deer have been successfully supplemented in Satpura, Sanjay tiger reserves, Noradehi, Kuno, and Gandhisar wildlife sanctuaries through translocation from high density areas such as Pench and Bandhavgarh tiger reserves. Source. 14. Consider the following statements. 1. Net zero emissions means that all carbon emissions into the atmosphere must be absorbed by methods like increasing the forest cover and decreasing man-made emissions. 2. Any oil or gas project that will result in at least a billion tons of CO2 emissions over its lifetime can be called as carbon bombs. Which of the above statements are incorrect? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Solution D. What are carbon bombs? Defining the term in its report, the Guardian said that it is an oil or gas project that will result in at least a billion tons of CO2 emissions over its lifetime. Whenever coal, oil, or gas is extracted, it results in pollution and environmental degradation. Further, carbon emissions take place in particularly large amounts when fuel is burned. Net zero emissions means that all carbon emissions into the atmosphere must be absorbed by methods like increasing the forest cover and decreasing man-made emissions. 15. Consider the following statements regarding methane emissions. 1. Over a 20-year period, methane is less potent at global warming than carbon dioxide. 2. Methane is one of the primary contributors to the formation of ground-level ozone. 3. Carbon dioxide remains in the atmosphere for much longer than methane. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 1 is incorrect. Methane is one of the main drivers of climate change, responsible for 30% of the warming since pre-industrial times, second only to carbon dioxide. Over a 20-year period, methane is 80 times more potent at warming than carbon dioxide, according to a report by the United Nations Environment Programme. It's also the primary contributor to the formation of ground-level ozone, a colorless and highly irritating gas that forms just above the Earth's surface. While carbon dioxide remains in the atmosphere for much longer than methane, methane is roughly 25 times more powerful at trapping heat in the atmosphere and has an important short-term influence on the rate of climate change. 16. Which of the following mainly acts as threat to the mangrove ecosystem? 1. Intertidal flow. 17. 2. Aquaculture or fisheries along the coast. 3. Discharge of untreated domestic and industrial effluents into the rivers. 4. Mixing of freshwater and saline water. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. Only 3. D. All 4. Solution B. Statements 2 and 3 are correct. Mangrove forests are formed when there is a tidal flow and where adequate sediments are available for the trees to set down roots. Experts say aquaculture or fisheries along the coast obstructing tidal flow is one of the biggest threats to the mangrove ecosystem. In the Sundarbans, the largest mangrove forest in the country, several instances of clearing mangroves for fisheries have come to light. Along the country's coastline, land reclamation for agriculture, aquaculture and industrial activities have occurred in areas which are under the coastal regulation zone. Restoration of the land and allowing intertidal flow is crucial for plantation and survival of mangrove forests. Discharge of untreated domestic and industrial effluents into the rivers impede the natural intertidal flow along the coast and the mixing of freshwater and saline water which help in gradual formation of the mangrove forest. 17. Consider the following statements regarding CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. 1. CITES is an international agreement to which states and regional economic integration organizations adhere voluntarily. 2. CITES was drafted as a result of a resolution adopted at a meeting of members of IUCN. 3. Although CITES is not legally binding on the parties, it does take the place of national laws. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. CITES is an international agreement to which states and regional economic integration organizations adhere voluntarily. States that have agreed to be bound by the convention joined. CITES are known as parties. Although CITES is legally binding on the parties, in other words, they have to implement the convention. It does not take the place of national laws. Rather, it provides a framework to be respected by each party, which has to adopt its own domestic legislation to ensure that CITES is implemented at the national level. CITES was drafted as a result of a resolution adopted in 1963 at a meeting of members of IUCN, the World Conservation Union. 18. Consider the following statements regarding Yasmin National Park, recently seen in news. 1. Yasmin National Park is one of the world's most biodiverse regions. 2. It is located in Brazil. 3. The area is inhabited by the Tajiri and Toromani, who live in self-isolation. 4. It was designated a World Biosphere Reserve by the UNESCO. 18. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. Only 3. D. All 4. Solution C. Statement 2 is incorrect. In a historic decision, Ecuadorians voted against the oil drilling of a protected area in the Amazon that's home to 2 impacted tribes and serves as a biodiversity hotspot. Yasmin National Park, one of the world's most biodiverse regions. The area is inhabited by the Tajiri and Toromani, who live in self-isolation. In 1989, Yasmin was designated a World Biosphere Reserve by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, also known as UNESCO. Source. 19. Consider the following statements regarding azores and corals. 1. Azores and corals are non-reef building, solitary corals. 2. They derive most of their nourishment from the sun. 3. They are also found in the shallow water regions. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 2 is incorrect. Scientists have recorded 4 species of azores and corals from Indian waters. These non-reef building, solitary corals were found from the waters of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Azores and corals are a group of corals that do not contain zooxanthellae and derive nourishment not from the sun but from capturing different forms of plankton. These groups of corals are deep sea representatives, with the majority of species reporting from between 200 meters to 1000 meters. Their occurrences are also reported from shallow coastal waters. Zooxanthellae corals, meanwhile, are restricted to shallow waters. 19. 20. Consider the following statements regarding coral reefs. 1. Coral reefs cover more than 25% of the Earth's surface. 2. Coral reefs helps in substantially reducing coastal flooding and erosion. 3. Increased ocean temperature causes reefs to expel the symbiotic algae responsible for their color. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 1 is incorrect. Coral reefs are essentially just big limestone structures built by thousands of tiny coral creatures called polyps. Increased ocean temperature caused by climate change is the main cause of coral bleaching events. That's when reefs expel the symbiotic algae responsible for their color. If that happens over longer periods, the corals can eventually die. Coral reefs act like low-crested breakwaters and absorb 97% of wave energy. This substantially reduces coastal flooding and erosion. Coral reefs cover less than 0.5% of the Earth's surface, but they are home to about 25% of all marine species. 21. Consider the following statements. 1. Gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide dissolve better in warm water than cold water. 2. The rise in water temperature accelerates metabolism, and the organisms need more food to maintain this metabolic rate. 3. High water temperatures does not harm the animals living at the bottom of oceans, lakes or rivers. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution A. Only statement 2 is correct. In a warming world, marine creatures are in danger of suffocating. Gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide dissolve better at colder temperatures, so that means the warmer the water, the less oxygen is available to breathe. Conversely, higher temperatures also cause an increase in metabolism, which in turn means animals have to breathe even more than usual. The rise in temperature accelerates metabolism, and the organisms need more food to maintain this metabolic rate. Algal blooms are more common in hotter waters too. Such blooms can further deplete oxygen levels and produce toxins harmful for fish, marine mammals and birds, for instance. High water temperatures are most harmful for animals living at the bottom of oceans, lakes or rivers. These benthic species include corals, mussels, sponges, starfish and plants like seagrasses, and are often attached to rock or solid ground. They can't migrate when it gets too hot. 20. Source. 22. Consider the following statements regarding benthic species. 1. Benthic species filter the water and keep seas, rivers and lakes clean by eating dead organisms. 2. They are important food source for other creatures. 3. They provide some of the main ocean habitats. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution C. Many benthic species are crucial to the marine ecosystem. They filter the water and keep seas, rivers and lakes clean by eating dead organisms. Some species are an important food source for other creatures or are harvested by humans. Benthics like soft corals, seaweed and seagrasses provide some of the main ocean habitats. Source. 23. Consider the following statements regarding vegetated canopies. 1. They mimic natural canopies found in forests and various plant species. 2. They are placed in commercial streets and public spaces, where planting trees may not be feasible owing to the lack of space. 3. Apart from absorbing gases such as carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxide, they also absorb sound waves thereby reducing noise pollution. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution C. What are vegetated canopies? Introduced in Santa Maria Street in Valladolid, Spain, the awnings are tension sail-like structures that have been anchored to the facades of surrounding buildings. They mimic natural canopies found in forests and various plant species. The lightness and ease of installation of the green sheets allow for shade in the presence of greenery in commercial streets and public spaces, where trees or other vegetation are often absent. The awnings can be placed in streets, where planting trees may not be feasible owing to the lack of space. The plants grow hydroponically, with a water supply point and water outlet for draining purposes. As per Singular Green, the company that created the awnings, the tent-side spaces are designed to reduce the temperature both in their surroundings and under the cover. Behind this is the phenomenon of evapotranspiration, which is the transfer of water to the atmosphere by plants. The plants chosen for these awnings belong to species that are optimized for the absorption of gases such as carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxide. The substrate also absorbs sound waves, reducing noise pollution. A square meter of a vegetated canopy generates the oxygen required by a person for the whole year, apart from filtering harmful gases, according to the company. 21. Source. 24. The tree species that form a mangrove forest or ecosystem are broadly classified as true mangroves and mangrove associates. True mangroves display which of the following adaptations? 1. Salt secreting cells. 2. Viviparity. 3. Pneumatical. Select the correct answer code. A. 1. 2. B1, 3. C2, 3. D1, 2, 3. Solution D. The tree species that form a mangrove forest or ecosystem are broadly classified as true mangroves and mangroves associates. True mangroves are the ones which display morphological adaptations for high saline mangrove ecosystems such as pneumatophores, vivipary or cryptovivipary germination and salt-secreting cells. Botanists put the number of true mangrove species in India at about 42 and mangrove associates at 68. A stable and resilient mangrove ecosystem requires a number of species to exist side by side. 25. Simlipal Tiger Reserve, recently seen in news, is located in Andhra Pradesh. B. Rajasthan. C. West Bengal. D. Orissa. Solution D. Simlipal is a tiger reserve in the Mayurbhanj district in Orissa. It is part of the Mayurbhanj Elephant Reserve, which includes 3 protected areas: Simlipal Tiger Reserve, Hargad Wildlife Sanctuary, and Kuliha Wildlife Sanctuary. Simlipal National Park derives its name from the abundance of red silk cotton trees growing in the area. The park is home to Bengal tiger, Asian elephant, gaur, and chausinger. This protected area is part of the UNESCO World Network of Biosphere Reserves since 2009. 26. Consider the following statements regarding last ice area seen in news. 1. The last ice area is located in the polar deserts of Antarctica. 2. The area has true melting of ice and is strong enough to withstand the effects of global warming. Which of the above statements are incorrect? 22. A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Solution C. A part of the Arctic ice called last ice area, located north of Greenland, has melted before expected. Scientists have believed this area was strong enough to withstand global warming. The area is important because it was thought to be able to help ice-dependent species as ice in the surrounding areas melted away. The area is used by polar bears to hunt for seals who use ice to build dens for their offspring. Walruses 2. Use the surface of the ice for foraging. 3. Geography. 1. Consider the following statements. 1. El Niño refers to an abnormal warming of the central and eastern Pacific Ocean waters of the coasts of Ecuador and Peru. 2. Oceanic Nino Index only measures the average sea surface temperature deviation from the normal in the east central equatorial Pacific region. 3. El Niño usually strengthens and peak during the summer months. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. El Niño, an abnormal warming of the central and eastern Pacific Ocean waters of the coasts of Ecuador and Peru, known to suppress rainfall in India. The Oceanic Nino Index only, which measures the average sea surface temperature deviation from the normal in the east central equatorial Pacific region. El Niño will gradually strengthen and peak during the winter months. Source. 2. India Meteorological Department (IMD) relies on which of the following criteria to declare the onset of monsoon? 1. Wind speeds. 2. Rainfall. 3. Outgoing long wave radiation. Select the correct answer code. A. 1 only. B. 1, 3. C. 1, 2. 23. D. 1, 2, 3. Solution D. Rainfall is not the only criteria that the IMD relies on to declare the monsoon's onset. Wind speeds of a minimum strength and depth in the atmosphere, the outgoing long wave radiation, a measure of cloudiness, and rainfall appearing to be consistent and well distributed over Kerala are important criteria. 3. Consider the following statements regarding total fertility rate (TFR). 1. The TFR is the average number of births by women aged 15 to 49 based on surveys for a particular period per year. 2. A TFR of 2.1 is considered as replacement level fertility. 3. Populations cannot grow when TFRs are falling. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. The TFR has fallen sharply for India in the past 3 decades. Between 1992-93 and 2019-21, it came down from 3.4 to 2. The fall was especially significant in the rural areas. A TFR of 2.1 is considered as replacement level fertility. Simply understood, a woman having 2 children replaces herself and her partner with 2 new lives. Since all infants may not survive, the replacement TFR is taken at slightly above 2. The TFR is the average number of births by women aged 15 to 49 based on surveys for a particular period per year. Populations can keep growing even with TFRs falling. The growth requires TFRs to remain below replacement levels for extended periods. The effects of that, fewer children today becoming parents tomorrow and procreating just as much or less, may reflect only after a couple of generations. 4. Consider the following statements. 1. An impact crater is a circular depression in the surface of a solid astronomical object formed due to volcanic explosion or internal collapse. 2. The far side is also known as the dark side of the moon, which is not always hidden from Earth. 3. The lunar south pole also sits on the rim of a massive impact crater of the solar system. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution A. Only statement 3 is correct. An impact crater is a circular depression in the surface of a solid astronomical object formed by the high velocity impact of a smaller object. In contrast to volcanic craters, which result from explosion or internal collapse, impact craters typically have raised rims and floors that are lower in elevation than the surrounding terrain. 24. The lunar south pole also sits on the rim of a massive impact crater of the solar system. Spanning a diameter of 2,500 kilometers (1,600 miles) and reaching depths of up to 8 kilometers, this crater is one of the most ancient features within the solar system. The far side is also known as the dark side of the moon as it is always hidden from Earth. Source. 5. Consider the following statements. 1. Canalization involves diverting the flow of water from a water source, such as a river. 2. Satluj, Beas, and Ravi are the perennial rivers that traverse through Punjab. 3. The Bhakarnangal Dam is located across the Ravi River. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. Punjab is traversed by 3 perennial rivers, Satluj, Beas, and Ravi, alongside 2 rivulets, the eastern Chitti and western Koli beans. Canalization involves regulating or diverting the flow of water from a water source, such as a river. This can include directing river water into specific channels, utilizing mini dams for regulation, establishing interconnections between canal systems and rivers, and fortifying earthen embankments in times of need. The perennial rivers have significant dams, such as the Bhakarnangal Dam on the Satluj, Pong Dam on the Beas, and Ranjit Sagar or Teen Dam on the Ravi. There are also Tusi Bunds, earthen embankments on all these big rivers. Source. 6. Consider the following statements regarding Indian Ocean Dipole (IOD). 1. The IOD is an ocean-atmosphere interaction very similar to the El Niño fluctuations in the Pacific Ocean. 2. It is always a much stronger system than El Niño and thus has relatively greater impacts. 3. A positive IOD has the potential to offset the impacts of El Niño to a small measure in neighboring areas. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 2 is incorrect. With the El Niño phenomenon almost certain to affect the Indian monsoon this year, high hopes have been on the development of a positive Indian Ocean Dipole (IOD) and its ability to counterbalance the El Niño effect. The IOD is an ocean-atmosphere interaction very similar to the El Niño fluctuations in the Pacific Ocean, playing out 25. As the name shows, in the Indian Ocean, it is also a much weaker system than El Niño and thus has relatively limited impacts. But a positive IOD does have the potential to offset the impacts of El Niño to a small measure in neighboring areas, and it has, at least once in the past, 1997, delivered admirably on this potential. 7. Consider the following statements. 1. Humans gain heat within their body by producing sweat that evaporates on the skin. 2. Humidity in the environment makes it conducive to regulate body temperature. 3. Dehydration will lead to rapid increase in sweat production. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution D. Humans lose heat generated within their body by producing sweat that evaporates on the skin. The cooling effect of this evaporation is essentially maintaining a stable body temperature. As humidity rises, sweat does not evaporate, just like clothes take a long time to dry in human locations and makes it difficult to regulate body temperature. This is why we feel more discomfort in human places. Dehydration can lead to decreased sweat production and therefore increased vulnerability to heat stroke during heat waves. 8. Consider the following statements regarding flash floods. 1. Flash floods occur in a shorter span of time and are highly localized. 2. In India, flash floods are often associated with cloudbursts. 3. Flash floods do not occur where rivers are narrow and steep. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. Excessive or continuous rainfall over a period of days or during particular seasons can lead to stagnation of water and cause flooding. Flash floods refer to such a situation, but occurring in a much shorter span of time and are highly localized. Flash floods are caused when rainfall creates flooding in less than 6 hours. It adds that flash floods can also be caused by factors apart from rainfall, like when water goes beyond the levels of a dam. In India, flash floods are often associated with cloudbursts, sudden, intense rainfall in a short period of time. Himalayan states further face the challenge of overflowing glacial lakes formed due to the melting of glaciers, and their numbers have been increasing in the last few years. Frequently, flash floods are accompanied by landslides, which are sudden movements of rock, boulders, earth, or debris down a slope. 26. Flash flooding commonly happens more where rivers are narrow and steep, so they flow more quickly. They can occur in urban areas located near small rivers, since hard surfaces such as roads and concrete do not allow the water to absorb into the ground. 4. Government schemes and programs. 1. Consider the following statements. 1. Aadhaar is a verifiable 12-digit identification number issued by Unique Identification Authority of India on behalf of the Government of India. 2. The masked Aadhaar implies displaying only the first 4 digits of the Aadhaar number and replacing the last 8 digits of Aadhaar number with some characters. 3. The masked Aadhaar facility has been in place since the launch of Aadhaar facility. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. A. Only statement 1 is correct. Aadhaar is a verifiable 12-digit identification number issued by Unique Identification Authority of India on behalf of the Government of India. The masked Aadhaar number facility that can be downloaded from the UID website and which displays only the last 4 digits of the Aadhaar number. This was a sensible advisory. The masked Aadhaar facility has been in place since 2018 and this came about following a report by the Center for Internet and Society. Source. 2. Consider the following statements regarding BharatNet project. 1. BharatNet is a rural telecom project implemented in a phased manner to all 2.5 lakh gram panchayats (GPs) in India for last mile broadband connectivity. 2. The project is being executed by Bharat Broadband Network (BBNL), an arm of state-run Bharat Sanchar Nigam (BSNL). 3. The project is implemented with the help of village-level entrepreneurs. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. C. BharatNet is one of the biggest rural telecom projects in the world, implemented in a phased manner to all 2.5 lakh gram panchayats (GPs) in the country for last mile broadband connectivity. The project was first approved by the Cabinet in October 2011 and is being executed by Bharat Broadband Network (BBNL) as a special purpose vehicle (SPV). Phase 2 was approved in 2017. 27. BBNL, which is an arm of state-run Bharat Sanchar Nigam (BSNL), now will be partnering with village-level entrepreneurs (BLEs) to provide the connectivity. The model to take fiber to the home with the help of a local entrepreneur was finalized after successful completion of a pilot project. Source. 3. Consider the following statements. 1. Nikshay Mitra is a government project that enables people to adopt tuberculosis patients and take care of their nutritional and medical requirements. 2. Under Pradhan Mantri TB Mukht Bharat Abhiyan, India aims at eliminating TB by 2030, which is also a sustainable development goal. 3. National TB Elimination Program (NTEP) covers TB patients from both the public and the private sector. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. B. Statement 2 is incorrect. The Health Ministry's unique Adopt a TB Patient (Nikshay Mitra's) initiative, probably the only one of its kind in the world. The program was brought in to fill the critical community elements into India's fight towards the Pradhan Mantri TB Mukht Bharat Abhiyan aimed at eliminating TB by 2025. Nikshay Mitra donor for this program includes cooperative societies, corporates, elected representatives, individuals, institutions, non-governmental organizations, political parties and partners who can support by adopting the health facilities for individual donor blocks, urban wards, districts, states for accelerating the response against TB to complement the government efforts as per the district-specific requirements in coordination with the district administration. Free diagnostics, free drugs and Nikshay Portion Yojana provided by the National TB Elimination Program (NTEP) to all the TB patients notified from both the public and the private sector. Source. 4. Consider the following statements. 1. Controller of Certifying Authorities (CCA) is the Indian government's authority for monitoring digital signatures. 2. SSL security sockets layer certificates are used to encrypt websites and to make sure the browser knows that the website is not being modified or impersonated by attackers. 3. National Informatics Center (NIC) is a controller of Certifying Authorities (CCA) approved organization that hosts and maintains several union and state government websites. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. C. 28. Controller of Certifying Authorities (CCA), the Indian government's authority for digital signatures, including SSL security sockets layer certificates. SSL certificates are used to encrypt websites and to make sure the browser knows that the website is not being modified or impersonated by attackers. Browser know to trust these certificates if they are issued by a certifying authority that is in turn trusted by root certifying authority. India does not have a root certifying authority trusted by major browsers like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, and Microsoft Edge. This has led to a situation where the government operates a root certifying authority that is legally valid under Indian law. The root certifying authority of India, set up in 2000 under the CCA, but the certificates issued under its purview are largely not recognized by web browser, leading Indian government and private websites to purchase SSL certificates from foreign certifying authorities. CCA approved organization, the National Informatics Center (NIC), which hosts and maintains several union and state government websites. Source. 5. Consider the following statements regarding Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana (PMJ). 1. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana (PMJ) scheme falls under Ayushman Bharat. 2. It is the largest health insurance scheme in India providing a health cover of Rs. 5 lakhs per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization. 3. The households included are based on the deprivation and occupational criteria of socio-economic caste census 2011, SECC 2011 for rural and urban areas respectively. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. C. The Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana (PMJ) falls under Ayushman Bharat. PMJ is the largest health insurance scheme in the world which aims at providing a health cover of Rs. 5 lakhs per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization to over 10.74 crores poor and vulnerable families, approximately 50 crore beneficiaries that form the bottom 40% of the Indian population. The households included are based on the deprivation and occupational criteria of socio-economic caste census 2011, SECC 2011 for rural and urban areas respectively. 6. The Alternative Dispute Resolution (ADR) mechanism of mediation is mentioned in the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. B. The Commercial Courts Act 2015. C. The Consumer Protection Act 2019. D. All of the above. Solution. D. In India, though mediation finds legitimacy in some specific laws such as the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996, the Companies Act 2013, the Commercial Courts Act 2015, and the Consumer Protection Act 2019, there is no standalone legislation as yet. 7. Consider the following statements. 1. Under old pension scheme (OPS), the contribution of the current generation of workers was explicitly used to pay the pensions of existing pensioners. 2. National Pension Scheme (NPS) is a contributory pension scheme under which employees contribute 10% of their salary. 29. 3. NPS is mandatory for central government employees joining services on or after January 1st, 2004. 4. At present, National Pension Scheme is regulated by Securities and Exchange Board of India (SEBI). How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. Only 3. D. All 4. Solution. C. Statement 4 is incorrect. An old pension scheme (OPS), commonly known as the PAYG scheme, is defined as an unfunded pension scheme where current revenues fund pension benefits. Under the scheme, the contribution of the current generation of workers was explicitly used to pay the pensions of existing pensioners. OPS involved the direct transfer of resources from the current generation of taxpayers to fund the pensioners. NPS is a defined contribution pension scheme. NPS enables an individual to undertake retirement planning while in employment, with systematic savings and investments. NPS facilitates the accumulation of a pension corpus during their working life. NPS is designed to deliver a sustainable solution of having adequate retirement income in old age or upon superannuation. NPS is mandatory for central government employees joining services on or after January 1st, 2004, and almost all state governments have adopted it for their employees. NPS, regulated by the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority (PFRDA), is a contributory pension scheme under which employees contribute 10% of their salary, basic plus DNS allowance. A. Consider the following statements regarding Chips to Startup C2S program. 1. The Chips to Startup C2S program aims to train qualified engineers in the area of very large-scale integration, VLSI, and embedded system design. 2. The program is implemented at academic institutions, R&D organizations across the country including IITs, NITS, government, private colleges. 3. Center for Development of Advanced Computing, under Ministry of Electronics and Information, MeitY, serves as the nodal agency for the program. 4. MSMEs are not included under the program. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. Only 3. D. All 4. Solution. C. Statement 4 is incorrect. The Chips to Startup C2S program aims to train 85,000 number of high-quality and qualified engineers in the area of very large-scale integration, VLSI, and embedded system design, as well as result in development of 175 ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits, working prototypes of 20 system on chips, SOAP, and IP core repository over a period of 5 years. The program would be implemented at about 100 academic institutions, R&D organizations across the country, including IITs, NITs, IIITs, government, private colleges, and R&D organizations. Startups and MSMEs can also participate in the program by submitting their proposals under Academy Industry Collaborative Project, Grand Challenge Hackathons. 30. The C2S program addresses each entity of the value chain in electronics with quality manpower training, research and development, hardware design, system design, application-oriented R&D, prototype design and deployment with the help of academia, industry, startups and R&D establishments. 9. National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, NCIIPC, is the national nodal agency in respect of critical information infrastructure protection. NCIIPC has identified which of the following as critical sectors. 1. Power and energy. 2. Transport. 3. Strategic and public enterprises. 4. Banking, financial services and insurance. 5. Real estate. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 2. B. Only 3. C. Only 4. D. All 5. Solution. C. Option 5 is incorrect. National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, NCIIPC, is an organization of the Government of India created under Section 78 of the Information Technology Act, 2000, amended 2008, through a Gazette notification on the 16th of January 2014 based in New Delhi, India. It is designated as the national nodal agency in respect of critical information infrastructure protection. Vision: to facilitate safe, secure and resilient information infrastructure for critical sectors of the nation. Mission: to take all necessary measures to facilitate protection of critical information infrastructure from unauthorized access, modification, use, disclosure, disruption, incapacitation or destruction through coherent coordination, synergy and raising information security awareness among all stakeholders. NCIIPC has broadly identified the following as critical sectors: power and energy, banking, financial services and insurance, telecom, transport, government, strategic and public enterprises. 10. Consider the following statements regarding Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana (ABPMJ). 1. The scheme has taken India closer to achieve one of the Sustainable Development Goals. 2. The scheme provides a health cover of 5 lakh rupees per person per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization. 3. The scheme does not provide interstate portability. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. A. 31. Only statement 1 is correct. Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana (ABPMJ), launched in September 2018, has taken the country closer to Sustainable Development Goal 3.8, which envisions universal health coverage. The scheme provides a health cover of 5 lakh rupees per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization to more than 12 crore families, bottom 40% of the population, making it the world's largest health assurance scheme. 11 states UTs have pushed for 100% coverage of their respective population. The scheme caters to the poor and underprivileged sections of society. Its design ensures that the difficulties of people from the section in accessing healthcare services should be mitigated. Every hospital is mandated to have dedicated Pradhan Mantri Arogya Mitras (PMAMs) who guide the beneficiaries. An important feature of ABPMJ is interstate portability. This means a patient registered in one state is entitled to receive care in any other state that has an ABPMJ program. This has proved helpful to migrants, especially in emergencies. Source: 11. Consider the following statements regarding Bharat New Car Assessment Program, Bharat NCAP. 1. Bharat New Car Assessment Program, Bharat NCAP, provides a star rating indicating the safety of the cars in a crash. 2. It is an indigenous program which is not modeled on the Global New Car Assessment Program. 3. The program is mandatory to all the car segments. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. A. Only statement 1 is correct. Come October 1st, car manufacturers can volunteer to get a star rating indicating the safety of their models in a crash under an indigenous program for testing. The Bharat New Car Assessment Program, Bharat NCAP, is modeled on the Global New Car Assessment Program, Global NCAP, a project of the Towards Zero Foundation, which is a UK-registered charity that promotes the universal adoption of the United Nations' most important motor vehicle safety standards worldwide. The new program will be applicable to passenger vehicles with not more than 8 seats in addition to the driver's seat with gross vehicle weight not exceeding 3,500 kg. The program will be based on the soon-to-be-published Automotive Industry Standard 197, which lays down testing protocols. A rating from 1 star to 5 stars will be assigned to a vehicle after an evaluation of 3 parameters: adult occupant protection, child occupant protection, and safety assist technologies present in the car. The program is voluntary except in certain cases such as the base variant of a popular vehicle model, minimum block sale of 30,000 units, or when the ministry recommends a model for testing based on market feedback or in the interest of public safety. 32. Source: 12. Consider the following statements. 1. Indian Medical Association (IMA) is India's regulatory body guiding medical professionals. 2. National Medical Commission (NMC) is a national voluntary organization of physicians. 2. As per the latest rules, the registered medical practitioners (RMP) must prescribe generic medicines only. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. D. End of a half-month standoff between the National Medical Commission (NMC), India's regulatory body guiding medical professionals, and the Indian Medical Association (IMA), a national voluntary organization of physicians with over 3 lakh members. The two had locked onto one of the provisions of the NMX notification on August 2nd, asking registered medical practitioners (RMP) to prescribe generic medicines only. Source: 13. Consider the following statements regarding PM Vishwakarma scheme. 1. PM Vishwakarma scheme aims to help traditional craftspeople and artisans by providing interest-free loans. 2. The scheme also aims at improving the quality as well as the reach of products and services of artisans and craftspeople. 3. The scheme covers rural and urban areas across India. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. B. Statement 1 is incorrect. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs approved the new central sector scheme PM Vishwakarma for a period of 5 years FY 2023-24 to 2027-28. The scheme aims to strengthen and nurture the Guru Shishya Parampara or family-based practice of traditional skills by artisans and craftspeople working with their hands and tools. The scheme also aims at improving the quality as well as the reach of products and services of artisans and craftspeople and to ensure that the Vishwakarmas are integrated with the domestic and global value chains. Under PM Vishwakarma scheme, the artisans and craftspeople will be provided recognition through PM Vishwakarma certificate and ID card, credit support up to 1 lakh rupees, first tranche and 2 lakh rupees, second tranche with a concessional interest rate of 5%. The scheme will further provide skill upgradation, toolkit incentive for digital transactions and marketing support. The scheme will provide support to artisans and craftspeople of rural and urban areas across India. 18 traditional trades will be covered in the first instance under PM Vishwakarma. Source: 3314. Consider the following statements regarding PM Gati Shakti. 1. PM Gati Shakti seeks to revolutionize infrastructure development through a whole of the government approach. 2. PM Gati Shakti enables data-driven decision-making for project planning and implementation. 3. It also emphasizes multimodal connectivity to economic northern cargo hubs. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. C. PM Gati Shakti seeks to revolutionize infrastructure development through a whole of the government approach, a digital geographic information system (GIS) based platform and an institutional arrangement. This initiative aims to develop plans for integrated multimodal infrastructure for the efficient transportation of goods and people. Its national master plan has integrated over 1,460 GIS data layers representing infrastructure assets with topographical as well as geographical features and data related to 15 social sectors. By bringing together various ministries and departments on a single digital platform, PM Gati Shakti enables data-driven decision-making for project planning and implementation. More than 38 ministries, departments of the central government, 28 states and 8 union territories are already part of it. PM Gati Shakti also emphasizes multimodal connectivity to economic northern cargo hubs. This enhances the commercial viability of network projects as well as the infrastructure or manufacturing units connected to it. Source: 15. Which of the following statements is correct regarding PM Pranam scheme? A. Goal of achieving sustainable development goals related to TD by 2025. B. Connecting school students and scientists so as to extend students' classroom learning with that of research laboratory-based learning. C. It is aimed at saving the soil and promote sustainable, balanced use of fertilizer. D. Skill development scheme for youth of 14-35 years age group. Solution. C. The PM Pranam scheme was aimed at saving the soil and promote sustainable, balanced use of fertilizer. It involved the participation of state governments. The center would incentivize those states which would adopt alternative fertilizer with a subsidy that was saved by reducing the use of chemical fertilizer. 34. 5. Science and technology. 1. In humans, conjunctivitis most commonly affects the respiratory tract. B. Kidney. C. Brain. D. Eyes. Solution. D. With persistent rain, cases of conjunctivitis or pink eye are on the rise in several parts of the country, including New Delhi, Chandigarh, and Gujarat. A conjunctivitis patient generally experiences eyes turning red, feeling itchy and painful, and witnessing a watery or theatrical discharge. The disease can be caused by viruses, bacteria, or allergens, and in some cases can be highly infectious. Source: 2. Migraine is a disease caused by hypersensitive brain. Which of the following factors can trigger migraine? 1. Hunger or dehydration. 2. Hormone fluctuations during periods and pregnancy. 3. Diets containing ultra-processed foods. 4. Bright lights. 5. Strong smells like perfume or smoke. How many of the above options are correct? A. Only 2. B. Only 3. C. Only 4. D. All 5. Solution: D. Migraine is a disease of hypersensitivity. The migraine brain has abnormally sensitive neuronal connections. Compared to people who don't get migraines, this leaves migrainias more likely to respond to small changes in the environment, which can result in headaches or more serious migraine attacks. Migraine attacks are thought to originate from abnormal electrical excitability in sensory neurons in the meninges, layers of membrane that protect the brain. When sensitized, these neurons send signals to the brain which trigger headache pain, photophobia, and other migraine symptoms. These neurons are also close to blood vessels, which is why headaches can feel like they pulse along with your heartbeat. There are a huge range of migraine triggers and each person's triggers can differ from the next. The most common triggers are bright lights and loud sounds, strong smells like perfume, smoke, or certain smelly foods, lack of sleep, poor quality sleep or jet lag, hunger or dehydration, too much caffeine, alcohol, especially red wine, hormone fluctuations, such as before or during periods, pregnancy or menopause, foods and diet, especially diets containing ultra-processed foods and processed sugars. Source: 3. Consider the following statements. 1. Resistance is an essential property in electrical conductivity. 2. Resistance involves gain of energy in the form of heat. 35. 3. Elimination of resistance can lead to removal of transmission losses in power cables and massive gains in energy. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution: B. Statement 2 is incorrect. A current is nothing but the movement of charged particles, electrons in most cases, in a particular direction. When the electrons move, they collide and interact with other atoms in the material. The movement is not entirely smooth. It encounters resistance which, as of now, is an essential property in electrical conductivity. Resistance involves the loss of energy, mostly in the form of heat. Part of the reason why electrical appliances get heated is this resistance. Elimination of this resistance can result in super efficient electrical appliances, removal of transmission losses in power cables, and massive gains in energy. Source: 4. Consider the following statements regarding superconductivity. 1. Superconductivity refers to a state in which a material offers high resistance to electric current. 2. MRI scan machine and the superfast magnet trains work on the principle of superconductivity. 3. As of now, superconductivity can be achieved only at very high temperatures. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution: A. Only statement 2 is correct. Superconductivity refers to a state in which a material offers zero or near zero resistance to electric current. Superconducting materials show very interesting behavior under magnetic field which allows the functioning of systems like the MRI scan machine and the superfast magnet trains that float above the tracks. As of now, superconductivity can be achieved only at very low temperatures, more than 250 degrees Celsius below zero, very close to absolute zero, which is 273 degrees Celsius. Source: 5. Consider the following statements regarding space debris. 1. Space debris include debris from defunct spacecrafts and satellites, satellite explosions and collisions. 2. Under the Convention on International Liability for Damage Caused by Space Objects, countries cannot claim compensation from other countries for damages incurred from space debris. 3. Meteoroids are not classified as space debris. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. 36. D. None. Solution: A. Only statement 1 is correct. Space debris can include natural space debris such as meteoroids, or man-made ones which can include defunct spacecrafts and satellites, stages of rockets which have launched payloads, dead satellites, satellite explosions and collisions. Most pieces of space debris burn up as they enter the Earth's atmosphere, the process starting from around a height of 100 kilometers from Earth's surface to 20 kilometers. However, sometimes, very heavy pieces may not burn completely, and some part of the object may make it down to the surface, either hitting a landmass or a water body. Under the Convention on International Liability for Damage Caused by Space Objects, countries can claim compensation from other countries for damages incurred from space debris. 6. Consider the following statements regarding Voyager 2 mission. 1. Voyager 2 is the first spacecraft to enter interstellar space. 2. It is the mission of NASA. 3. The spacecraft is not powered by solar power, rather it relies on a small nuclear power plant. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution: B. Statement 1 is incorrect. Launched around 46 years ago, Voyager 2 is the second spacecraft to enter interstellar space. The reason it lies outside the impact of our sun's constant flow of material and magnetic field. The first was Voyager 1. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 are identical spacecraft. Each of them is equipped with instruments to carry out 10 different experiments. The instruments include television cameras to take images of planets and other celestial bodies, infrared and ultraviolet sensors, magnetometers, plasma detectors, and cosmic ray and charged particle sensors. As their mission involved going far away from the sun, they aren't powered by solar power like other spacecraft are. Instead, Voyager relies on a small nuclear power plant, drawing hundreds of watts from the radioactive decay of a pellet of plutonium. Source: 7. The hydrogen bomb and uranium bomb are based respectively on fission and thermonuclear fusion. B. Geothermal fusion and fission. C. Nuclear fusion and fission. D. Geothermal fission and fusion. Solution: C. 37. All existing nuclear weapons derive some of their explosive energy from nuclear fission reactions. Weapons whose explosive output is exclusively from fission reactions are commonly referred to as atomic bombs or atom bombs. In fission weapons, a mass of fissile material enriched uranium or plutonium is forced into supercriticality, allowing an exponential growth of nuclear chain reaction. Fusion weapons are generally referred to as thermonuclear weapons or more colloquially as hydrogen bombs, abbreviated as H-bombs, as they rely on fusion reactions between isotopes of hydrogen, deuterium, and tritium. 8. Consider the following statements. 1. All atoms on Earth are stable due to an equilibrated composition of neutrons and protons in their nucleus. 2. Uranium-235 is an extremely rare isotope of the heavy metal uranium and is the most commonly used nuclear fuel. 3. Uranium-235 is one of the few elements that can undergo induced fission. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution: B. Statement 1 is incorrect. Most atoms on Earth are stable due to an equilibrated composition of neutrons and protons in their nucleus. However, in some unstable atoms, the composition of the number of protons and neutrons is restricted does not allow the nucleus to hold itself together. Such atoms are known to be radioactive, and they tend to break apart or fission into two lighter elements. This is the basis of most nuclear weapons and atomic energy. Uranium-235, an extremely rare isotope of the heavy metal uranium, is the most commonly used nuclear fuel. As it is one of the few elements that can undergo induced fission. This means that the element can be broken down very quickly by process put into motion by humans. This is done by subjecting Au-235 nucleus to neutrons. The nucleus immediately absorbs an extra neutron and consequently becomes unstable, and immediately breaks apart into two lighter atoms and a few extra neutrons. This process releases what is known as atomic energy. Source: 9. Consider the following statements. 1. Majority of the naturally occurring uranium is of the isotope U-235. 2. Naturally occurring uranium can be used in a weapon or in nuclear power plants to generate nuclear energy. 3. Uranium ore is enriched in order to increase the concentration of U-235. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution: A. Only statement 3 is correct. 38. Approximately 99.3% of naturally occurring uranium is of the isotope U-238, which is not fissionable. Naturally occurring uranium, therefore, cannot be used in a weapon, or for that matter, in nuclear power plants. Thus, uranium ore is enriched in order to increase the concentration of U-235. Most nuclear power plants require an enrichment of 3 to 4% U-235 to sustain a chain reaction. Fission bonds, on the other hand, need closer to 90% enrichment. Source: 10. Consider the following statements. 1. Nuclear fusion is the process by which two like atomic nuclei combine to form a single, heavier one while releasing massive amounts of energy. 2. Fusion bonds are also called hydrogen bonds or H-bombs. 3. For fusion bonds, the nuclei of isotopes of hydrogen, deuterium, and tritium are fused together under extremely low temperatures and pressure. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution: B. Statement 3 is incorrect. Nuclear fusion is basically the opposite of fission. It is the process by which two like atomic nuclei combine to form a single, heavier one while releasing massive amounts of energy. For fusion bonds, the nuclei of two extremely rare isotopes of hydrogen, deuterium, and tritium are fused together under extremely high temperatures and pressure, thus giving these bonds the moniker of hydrogen bonds or H-bombs. While being way more destructive, fusion bombs pose some major challenges, the first of which is obtaining adequate fusion of the material itself. Moreover, the amount of energy that is required to create conditions of a fusion reaction is immense. Thus, all H bombs are basically two bombs in one, a fission bomb which produces adequate heat and pressure to trigger the fusion reaction. Source. 11. Consider the following statements regarding type 1 diabetes. 1. Type 1 diabetes is a chronic condition in which the pancreas produces little or no insulin. 2. It typically appears in adolescents and symptoms include increased thirst, frequent urination, fatigue and blurred vision. Which of the above statements are incorrect? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Solution. D. Type 1 diabetes, also called juvenile diabetes, is a chronic condition in which the pancreas produces little or no insulin. It typically appears in adolescents and symptoms include increased thirst, frequent urination, hunger. 39. Fatigue and blurred vision. Treatment is aimed at maintaining normal blood sugar levels through regular monitoring, insulin therapy, diet and exercise. 12. Consider the following statements. 1. Under the Transplantation of Human Organs and Tissues Act, organs can be harvested from deceased donors or from living relatives of the recipient. 2. According to the law in India, livers, pancreas, lungs and kidneys can be harvested from living donors. 3. Hypertension and diabetes are the biggest causes of kidney damage in India. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. C. Under the Transplantation of Human Organs and Tissues Act, 1994, amended in 2011 and 2014, organs can be harvested from deceased donors or from living relatives of the recipient, children, siblings, spouse, or grandparents and grandchildren. The act also allows unrelated donors such as relatives other than close ones, long-term friends, or in-laws, but prohibits any financial exchange. Although livers, pancreas, or lungs can be harvested from living donors, the brackets mainly target the kidney as it is the most in demand. The kidney can survive longer outside of the body, 24 to 36 hours, than the lungs, 4 to 5 hours, and the liver, 8 to 12. What causes kidney failure? The most common cause is hypertension and diabetes. Other causes include certain hereditary diseases, infections, and autoimmune diseases. High blood pressure and diabetes are the biggest causes of kidney damage in India, leading to 50% of kidney failures. Obesity is also a big risk factor because it increases the risk of diabetes and hypertension. 13. Consider the following statements. 1. Variations in the solar weather can change the orbits of satellites or shorten their lives. 2. A satellite placed in the halo orbit around Lagrangian point 1 L1 of the Sun-Earth system has the advantage of continuously viewing the Sun without any occultation. 3. Satellites placed in the Lagrange points require more fuel to remain in position. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. B. Statement 3 is incorrect. The solar weather and environment affect the weather of the entire system. Variations in this weather can change the orbits of satellites or shorten their lives, interfere with or damage onboard electronics, and cause power blackouts and other disturbances on Earth. Knowledge of solar events is key to understanding space weather. Every storm that emerges from the Sun and heads towards Earth passes through L1, and a satellite placed in the halo orbit around L1 of the Sun-Earth system has the major advantage of continuously viewing the Sun without any occultation eclipses. 40. L1 refers to Lagrange point 1, one of 5 points in the orbital plane of the Earth-Sun system. Lagrange points, named after Italian-French mathematician Joseph Louis Lagrange, are positions in space where the gravitational forces of a two-body system, like the Sun and the Earth, produce enhanced regions of attraction and repulsion. These can be used by spacecraft to reduce fuel consumption needed to remain in position. The L1 point is home to the solar and heliospheric observatory satellite SOHO, an international collaboration project of NASA and the European Space Agency (ESA). Source. 14. Luna 25 spacecraft that was recently in use was launched by National Aeronautics and Space Administration (NASA). B. European Space Agency. C. Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency (JAXA). D. Roscosmos. Solution. D. Russia's LUNA-25 has crashed on the moon's surface. The country's space agency said in a disappointing end to its first mission to the lunar surface 47 years after the last landing by the former Soviet Union. Source. 15. Consider the following statements regarding navigation with Indian constellation Navig. 1. Currently, all the Aadhaar enrollment kits that are used to collect and verify personal details are linked to navigation with Indian constellation or Navig. 2. The National Disaster Management Agency (NDMA) is utilizing Navig as an alert dissemination system for major natural disasters like earthquakes, floods, and avalanches. 3. The Indian National Center for Ocean Information System (INCOIS) relies on Navig to broadcast cyclones, high waves, and tsunamis alert messages. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. B. Statement 1 is incorrect. The navigation with Indian constellation or Navig, which consists of 7 satellites and India's version of the American GPS global positioning system, will soon be integrated into Aadhaar enrollment devices. The Department of Space told the Parliamentary Committee of Science and Technology. Currently, the Aadhaar enrollment kits that are used to collect and verify personal details are linked to GPS. Navig offers two services: Standard Position Service (SPS) for civilian users and Restricted Service (RS) for strategic users. These two services are provided in both L5 1176.45 MHz and S-band 2498.028 MHz. Navig coverage area includes India and a region up to 1,500 kilometers beyond the Indian boundary. The National Disaster Management Agency (NDMA) was already utilizing Navig as an alert dissemination system for major natural disasters like landslips, earthquakes, floods, and avalanches. The Indian National Center for Ocean Information System (INCOIS) relies on it to broadcast cyclones, high waves, and tsunamis alert messages to fishermen venturing into the deep sea. Source. 4116. Consider the following statements regarding 3D printing. 1. 3D printing is the latest technology that was invented in 2010s. 2. It creates three-dimensional objects using layers of material like plastic, composites, or biomaterials. 3. 3D printers construct the desired object using subtractive manufacturing processes. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. A. Only statement 2 is correct. Invented in the 1980s, 3D printing burst into the mainstream around the 2010s when many thought it would take over the world. The technology, however, at the time was expensive, slow and prone to making errors. In recent years, some of these flaws have been done away with, making 3D printing more prevalent than ever before. For instance, it's being used in automotive and aerospace sectors to make parts of cars and rockets respectively. 3D printing, also known as additive manufacturing, is a process that uses computer-created design to make three-dimensional objects layer by layer. It is an additive process in which layers of material like plastic, composites, or biomaterials are built up to construct objects that range in shape, size, rigidity, and color. 3D printers construct the desired object by using a layering method, which is the complete opposite of the subtractive manufacturing processes. Source. 17. Consider the following statements regarding shigellosis. 1. Shigellosis is a bacterial infection of the intestines. 2. Shigellosis mainly causes dysentery. 3. Controlled human infection study (CICE) is a relatively quick and efficient way to assess if a vaccine might work, which has been used in research for dozens of diseases. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. C. Shigellosis is an infection of the intestines caused by Shigella bacteria, shigellosis, which causes dysentery. Controlled human infection study (CICE), also called a human challenge study. A CICE is a relatively quick and efficient way to assess if a vaccine might work, and they have been used for decades in research for dozens of diseases. Source. 18. Consider the following statements. 1. Narcolepsis test is based on the assumption that physiological responses that are triggered when a person is lying are different from what they would be otherwise. 42. 2. In a polygraph test, a drug is injected into the body of the accused, which transports them to a hypnotic or sedated state in which their imagination is neutralized. 3. Both narcolepsis test and polygraph test have been proved scientifically to have 100% success rate. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. D. In a narco or narcolepsis test, a drug called sodium pentothal is injected into the body of the accused, which transports them to a hypnotic or sedated state in which their imagination is neutralized. In this hypnotic state, the accused is understood as being incapable of lying and is expected to divulge information that is true. A polygraph test is based on the assumption that physiological responses that are triggered when a person is lying are different from what they would be otherwise. A polygraph test does not involve injecting drugs into the body. Rather, instruments like cardiographs or sensitive electrodes are attached to the suspect, and variables such as blood pressure, pulse rate, respiration, change in sweat gland activity, blood flow, etc. are measured as questions are put to them. A numerical value is assigned to each response to conclude whether the person is telling the truth, is deceiving, or is uncertain. In recent decades, investigating agencies have sought to employ these tests in investigation, which are sometimes seen as being a softer alternative to torture or third degree to extract the truth from suspects. However, neither method has been proven scientifically to have a 100% success rate and remain contentious in the medical field as well. 6. International relations and organizations. 1. Consider the following statements regarding stapled visa. 1. A stapled visa is an unstamped piece of paper that is attached by a pin or staples to a page of the passport. 2. Like a regular visa, stapled visa cannot be drawn off or detached at will. 3. The Chinese government reportedly issues staple visas to Indian citizens from Arunachal Pradesh. Which of the above statements are correct? A. 3 only. B. 1, 3. C. 2, 3. D. 1, 2, 3. Solution B. A staple visa is an unstamped piece of paper that is attached by pin or staples to a page of clay. Passport instead of being stamped directly in the passport. Unlike a regular visa, this piece of paper, without any stamp by the issuing authority, can be drawn off or detached at will. The Chinese government reportedly issues staple visas to Indian citizens from Arunachal Pradesh because it does not recognize India's claim over the state. Source. 43. 2. According to international law, in which of the following cases, country A violates the sovereign rights of country B in its exclusive economic zone EEZ? 1. Country A interfering with country B's fishing and petroleum exploration. 2. Country A constructing artificial islands in the zone. 3. Country A failing to stop its fishermen from fishing in the zone. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution C. The tribunal also found that China has violated the sovereign rights of the Philippines in its exclusive economic zone EEZ by interfering with Philippines fishing and petroleum exploration, B. Constructing artificial islands, and C. Failing to stop Chinese fishermen from fishing in the zone. Source. 3. Consider the following statements regarding Convention on Cluster Munitions (CCM). 1. Convention on Cluster Munitions (CCM) is a universal treaty that focuses on eradicating cluster bombs. 2. All the North Atlantic Treaty Organization (NATO) members have acceded to the CCM. 3. India has not signed the CCM. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution A. Only statement 3 is correct. Convention on Cluster Munitions (CCM) was enacted in May 2008. The enactment of the CCM has been a major step in eradicating cluster bombs. However, the treaty is not universal. 112 countries have acceded to the CCM, including many North Atlantic Treaty Organization (NATO) members such as Canada, Germany, France, and the United Kingdom. But important countries such as the US, Russia, China, Israel, and India have not signed the CCM. Ukraine is not a member. Source. 4. Consider the following statements regarding Sponge City Initiative. 1. It is the initiative of China that is aimed at reducing urban flood risks. 2. It focuses on nature-based solutions to better distribute water and improve drainage and storage. 3. It makes better use of rainwater through architectural and infrastructural tweaks. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution C. 44. 2015 Sponge City Initiative aimed at reducing urban flood risks. The initiative was launched to boost flood resilience in major cities and make better use of rainwater through architectural, engineering, and infrastructural tweaks. China has long sought to improve the way it handles extreme weather and make highly populated cities less vulnerable to flooding and drought. The Sponge City Initiative was designed to make greater use of low impact, nature-based solutions to better distribute water and improve drainage and storage. Those solutions included the use of permeable asphalt, the construction of new canals and ponds, and also the restoration of wetlands, which would not only ease waterlogging but also improve the urban environment. Source. 5. Until 1974, Kachetibu was a disputed territory between Malaysia and Thailand. B. Cambodia and Vietnam. C. Myanmar and Thailand. D. None of the above. Solution D. Kachetibu is a 285-acre uninhabited speck in the Bal Strait between India and Sri Lanka. It lies northeast of Rameswaram, about 33 kilometers from the Indian coast. It was a disputed territory between India and Sri Lanka until 1974. Source. 6. Consider the following statements. 1. ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement (AITIGA) is a free trade pact among the 10 member states of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations (ASEAN) and India. 2. Under the pact, the two trading partners set timelines for eliminating duties on the maximum number of goods traded between the two regions. 3. A review of AITIGA is held annually at the ASEAN-India Economic Ministers meeting to make trade facilitative and mutually beneficial. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. 45. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. India and the ASEAN countries reached an agreement to review their free trade pact for goods and set a 2025 goalpost for concluding the review aimed at addressing the asymmetry in bilateral trade. A joint committee of the ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement (AITIGA) signed in 2009 deliberated on the roadmap for the review of the pact and finalized the terms of reference for the fresh negotiations. The AITIGA review will now be taken up at the India-ASEAN Leaders Summit scheduled in early September for further guidance. The review of the AITIGA is expected to enhance and diversify trade while addressing the current asymmetry in the bilateral trade. Source. 7. Consider the following pairs of Indo-French joint exercises. 1. Garuda, Army exercise. 2. Varuna, naval exercise. 3. Shakti, air exercise. How many of the above options are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Only option 2 is correct. France has emerged as a major strategic partner for India with crucial defense deals and increased military-to-military engagement. A key example of this is the inducting of the French Scorpion conventional submarines being built in India under Technology Transfer Agreement of 2005 and the Indian Air Force having received 36 Rafale fighter jets. These relations are further fortified with the robust network of military dialogues and regularly held joint exercises. Varuna Navy, Garuda Air Force, and Shakti Army. 8. Rotterdam Convention, often seen in news, is related to A. Prevention of the proliferation of ballistic missiles. B. Promote shared responsibility among state parties in the international trade of certain hazardous chemicals. C. Prohibition of the usage of biological weapons by the member countries. D. None of the above. Solution B. Rotterdam Convention on Prior Informed Consent Procedures that entered into force on the 24th of February 2004 is a legally binding instrument which was adopted on the 10th of September 1998 by a conference of plenipotentiaries in Rotterdam. India acceded to the convention on the 24th of May 2006. The convention seeks to promote shared responsibility and cooperative efforts among state parties in the international trade of certain hazardous chemicals in order to protect human health and the environment from potential harm. 46. 7. Polity. 1. The Election Commission registers political parties for the purpose of elections and grants them recognition as national or state parties on the basis of their 1. Poll performance. 2. Number of elections contested. 3. Cadre strength. 4. Financial backing. How many of the above options are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. Only 3. D. All 4. Solution B. Only option 1 is correct. A registered party is recognized as a national party only if it fulfills any one of the 3 conditions listed below. A party should win 2% of seats in the Lok Sabha from at least 3 different states. 8. At a general election to Lok Sabha or Legislative Assembly, the party polls 6% of votes in any 4 or more states and in addition it wins 4 Lok Sabha seats. A party gets recognition as a state party in 4 states. A party gets at least 8% of total valid votes polled in 4 or more states with or without any seats. 2. Consider the following statements. 1. Reservation in Indian law is a form of affirmative action whereby a percentage of seats are reserved in the public sector units, union and state government departments and religious, linguistic minority educational institutions for the socially and educationally backward communities. 2. Justice G. Rohini Commission's report is related to the issue of subcategorization of OBCs. Which of the above statements are incorrect? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Solution A. Reservation in Indian law is a form of affirmative action whereby a percentage of seats are reserved in the public sector units, union and state civil services, union and state government departments and in all public and private educational institutions, except in the religious, linguistic minority educational institutions for the socially and educationally backward communities who are inadequately represented in these services and institutions. Justice G. Rohini Committee was set up to examine the possibility of creating categories within OBCs for the reservation to ensure equitable distribution of representation among all OBC communities. Its objectives include working out the mechanism, criteria, norm and parameters through a scientific approach for subcategorization within the OBCs and identifying the respective castes or communities or subcastes or synonyms in the central list of OBCs and classifying them into their respective subcategories. Part 16 deals with reservation of SC and ST in central and state legislatures. Article 15(4) and 16(4) of the Constitution enabled the state and central governments to reserve seats in government services for the members of the SC and St. Source. 47. 3. Consider the following statements. 1. Article 110 of the Constitution of India defines a money bill as one containing provisions dealing with taxes, regulation of the government's borrowing of money, and expenditure or receipt of money from the Consolidated Fund of India. 2. A major difference between money and financial bills is that while the latter has the provision of including the Rajya Sabha's recommendations, the former does not make their inclusion mandatory. 3. While an ordinary bill can originate in either house, a money bill can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. 4. Amendments relating to the reduction or abolition of any tax are exempt from the requirement of the President's recommendation. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. See only 3. D. All 4. Solution D. Article 110 defines a money bill as one containing provisions dealing with taxes, regulation of the government's borrowing of money, and expenditure or receipt of money from the Consolidated Fund of India, among others, whereas Article 109 delineates the procedure for the passage of such a bill and confers an overriding authority on the Lok Sabha in the passage of money bills. A major difference between money and financial bills is that while the latter has the provision of including the Rajya Sabha's upper house recommendations, the former does not make their inclusion mandatory. The Lok Sabha has the right to reject the Rajya Sabha's recommendations when it comes to money bills. What differentiates a money bill from any ordinary bill or financial bill is that while an ordinary bill can originate in either house, a money bill can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha, as laid down in Article 117(1). Additionally, no one can introduce or move money bills in the Lok Sabha except on the President's recommendation. Amendments relating to the reduction or abolition of any tax are exempt from the requirement of the President's recommendation. The two prerequisites for any financial bill to become a money bill are that first, it must only be introduced in the Lok Sabha and not the Rajya Sabha. Secondly, these bills can only be introduced on the President's recommendation. Source. 4. Consider the following statements. 1. The power to allot airtime to political parties for campaigning on Akashvani and Doordarshan rests with the Union Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. 2. The scheme for allotment of time on public broadcasters during election campaigning holds statutory basis under the Representation of the People Act 1951. Which of the above statements are correct? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Solution B. The Election Commission has made the process of allotting airtime to political parties for campaigning on Akashvani and Doordarshan entirely online. 48. Instead of collecting physical vouchers for airtime, the parties will henceforth be issued digital time vouchers through an information technology platform. Till now, the political parties had to send their representatives to the commission's offices to collect the time vouchers during elections. The scheme for allotment of time on public broadcasters during campaigning, which was initially notified in January 1998, holds a statutory basis under Section 39A of the Representation of the People Act 1951. Source. 5. Consider the following statements regarding privilege motion. 1. Parliamentary privileges are certain rights and immunities enjoyed by members of Parliament, individually and collectively, so that they can effectively discharge their functions. 2. A notice is moved in the form of a motion by any member of either house against those being held guilty of breach of privilege. 3. The leader of the house is the first level of scrutiny of a privilege motion. Which of the above statements are correct? A. 2 only. B. 2, 3. C. 1, 2. D. 1, 2, 3. Solution C. Parliamentary privileges are certain rights and immunities enjoyed by members of Parliament, individually and collectively, so that they can effectively discharge their functions. When any of these rights and immunities are disregarded, the offence is called a breach of privilege and is punishable under the law of Parliament. A notice is moved in the form of a motion by any member of either house against those being held guilty of breach of privilege. Each house also claims the right to punish contempt actions which, while not breach of any specific privilege, are offences against its authority and dignity. The Speaker, R.S. Chairperson, is the first level of scrutiny of a privilege motion. The Speaker, Chair, can decide on the privilege motion himself or herself or refer it to the Privileges Committee of Parliament. 6. Consider the following statements regarding parliamentary privileges. 1. There are codified lists of all privileges the members of Parliament are entitled to, like right of free expression in the course of parliamentary debates. 2. If there is a belief that such a privilege has been breached, a motion can be raised by any member. 3. The right to raise a question of privilege is based on the condition that the question shall be restricted to a specific matter of recent occurrence. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 1 is incorrect. Parliamentary privilege are certain rights conferred to the members of Parliament for conducting the business of the Parliament. There is no codified list of the exact privileges, but it includes the right of free expression in the course of parliamentary debates, and members of Parliament will not be liable for court proceedings for this. 49. If there is a belief that such a privilege has been breached, a motion can be raised by any member. It can be admitted by the chairman. They can then refer it to the Privileges Committee. The chairman can, from time to time, nominate such a committee consisting of 10 members. It will also have a chairman appointed by the Rajya Sabha chairman. The right to raise a question of privilege is based on satisfying two conditions, namely, I, the question shall be restricted to a specific matter of recent occurrence, and B, the matter requires the intervention of the council. Similar provisions exist in Lok Sabha with the Speaker having the power to make such decisions. The Speaker, R.S. Chairperson, is the first level of scrutiny of a privilege motion. Therefore, the Speaker, Chair, can decide on the privilege motion himself or herself or refer it to the Privileges Committee of Parliament. Source. 7. Consider the following statements. 1. The Official Language Committee is a statutory committee whose duty is to review the progress made in the use of Hindi for the official purposes of the Union and submit a report to the President. 2. The Official Languages Act 1963 provides for the continuance of English indefinitely as official language along with Hindi for the official purposes of the Union and for transaction of business in Parliament. 3. The Official Language Committee is mandated to recommend the medium of instruction in universities and professional institutions. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. The Official Language Committee is a statutory committee constituted under Section 4 in the Official Language Act 1963. Its duty is to review the progress made in the use of Hindi for the official purposes of the Union and submit a report to the President. The Act makes it obligatory for the President to issue directions in accordance with the whole or any part of the report. Section 4.4. It can thus be seen that the committee's recommendations are required to be acted upon. The committee is chaired by the Union Home Minister. Article 343 of the Constitution declares that Hindi in Devanagari script shall be the official language of the Union. Parliament enacted the Official Languages Act in 1963, providing for the continuance of English indefinitely as official language along with Hindi for the official purposes of the Union and for transaction of business in Parliament. The committee is not mandated to recommend the medium of instruction in universities and professional institutions. Further, since Parliament has declared by law that English shall continue along with Hindi, a statutory committee constituted under the very Act has no mandate to recommend the discontinuation of English. Source. 8. Consider the following statements. 1. According to the Constitution of India, the regions of India are eligible to use any of the official languages of India for official purposes. 2. The official language used for communication between the states shall be the language that has been in use at the time of adoption of the Constitution. 50. 3. The regional language can be adopted as an official language of India if the Prime Minister deems that a large enough proportion of the population of India desires it. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. The Constitution states two things with utmost clarity. 1. India is a union of states, and 2. The official language used for communication between the states shall be the language that has been in use at the time of adoption of the Constitution. According to the Constitution, the regions of India are eligible to use any of the official languages of India for official purposes. It also acknowledges the possibility of a regional language being adopted and becoming an official language of India if the President deems that a large enough proportion of the population of India desires it. 9. Consider the following statements. 1. The Constitution specifies that the Prime Minister is the head of the Council of Ministers. 2. In India's cabinet form of government, the Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. 3. In India, since 1963, none of the no confidence motions have been successful. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution C. The Constitution specifies that the Prime Minister is the head of the Council of Ministers. Therefore, the PM responds to the debate whenever MPs discuss a no confidence motion in Lok Sabha. The opposition parties move requires the PM to reply to the charges they bring during the discussion. In India's cabinet form of government, the Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. The rules of Lok Sabha provide the mechanism of a no confidence motion to test whether the Council of Ministers continues to enjoy the confidence of the House. 27 no confidence motions have been moved so far. None of these motions have been successful. 51. Source. 10. Consider the following statements regarding no confidence motion. 1. A no confidence motion aims at removing the party in government. 2. During the debate on a no confidence motion, participating MPs can raise both national and state issues. 3. The rules of procedure of Lok Sabha specify that after the no confidence motion is admitted, the debate must begin within 30 days from the date the motion was accepted in the House. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. A no confidence motion aims or should aim at removing the party in government and taking its place. The debate on a no confidence motion is also wide-ranging. Participating MPs raise both national and state issues during this debate. 52. The rules of procedure of Lok Sabha specify that after the no confidence motion is admitted, the Speaker shall specify the date on which the debate will begin. This date should be within 10 days from the date the motion was accepted in the House. Source. 11. Consider the following statements. 1. The Constitution of India refers to civil code only in its directive principles. 2. Implementation of directive principles is not mandatory and it cannot be enforced even by the courts. 3. The issue of personal laws falls in the Union list of the 7th schedule to the Indian Constitution. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. B. Statement 3 is incorrect. The Constitution refers to civil code only in its directive principles. It is critical to note that the Uniform Civil Code was limited to directive principles. Implementation of directive principles is not mandatory. The court may order to enforce fundamental rights, but the directive principles of Article 44 of the Constitution cannot be enforced even by the courts. It is essential to understand how much thought the founders of the Constitution put into their decision. The issue of personal laws falls in list 3, the concurrent list of the 7th schedule to the Constitution. Why subjects in the Union list fall within the purview of the Parliament? States can legislate on subjects in the state list. Source. 12. Consider the following statements. 1. The issue of personal laws falls in the concurrent list of the 7th schedule to the Constitution of India. 2. For entries in the concurrent list, the Constitution of India allows states the power to legislate on the subject but only in the absence of a central law. Which of the above statements are correct? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Solution. C. The issue of personal laws falls in list 3, the concurrent list of the 7th schedule to the Constitution. Why subjects in the Union list fall within the purview of the Parliament? States can legislate on subjects in the state list. For entries in the concurrent list, Article 162 of the Constitution gives state governments the power to legislate on subjects where central law does not occupy the field. If there is a central law, it automatically gains precedence over the state law on the subject. 53. Entry 5 of the concurrent list, marriage and divorce, infants and minors, adoption, wills, intestacy and succession, joint family and partition, all matters in respect of which parties in judicial proceedings were immediately before the commencement of this Constitution subject to their personal law. This allows states the power to legislate on the subject but only in the absence of a central law. Source. 8. History, art and culture. 1. The Bharsali manuscript is the oldest extant manuscript on literature. B. Agricultural practice. C. Astrology. D. Indian mathematics. Solution. D. The Bharsali manuscript, an ancient Indian mathematical text written on birch bark, is considered to be the earliest recorded example of the use of zero. Source. 2. Consider the following statements. 1. National Mission for Manuscripts (NMM), an autonomous body under the Ministry of Culture, is mandated with preserving the vast manuscript wealth of India. 2. Manuscripts are written only on palm leaf. 3. More than 90% of the existing manuscripts are in Sanskrit. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. A. Only statement 1 is correct. India possesses an estimated 10 million manuscripts in 80 ancient scripts like Brahmi, Kushan, Gaudi, Lepcha, and Maithili, says the National Mission for Manuscripts (NMM), an autonomous body under the Culture Ministry, which is mandated with preserving the vast manuscript wealth of India. Manuscripts are written on materials such as palm leaf, paper, cloth, and bark on themes ranging from history and religion to literature, astrology, and agricultural practice. While 75% of the existing manuscripts are in Sanskrit, 25% are in regional languages. Source. 3. Guru Ravidas was associated with which of these personalities? 1. Surdas. 2. Kabir. 3. Mirabai. 4. Ramananda 54. Select the correct answer code. 1, 2, 3, 4. B. 1, 2, 3. C. 3 only. D. 2, 3, 4. Solution. D. He is believed to be a disciple of the Bhakti saint poet Ramananda and a contemporary of the Bhakti saint poet Kabir. One of his famous disciples was the saint Mirabai. Among Ravidas's moral and intellectual achievements were the conception of Begumpura, a city that knows no sorrow, and a society where caste and class have ceased to matter. The Adi Granth of 6, in addition to the Panchmani, are the two of the oldest documented sources of the literary works of Guru Ravidas. Notably, he belonged to an untouchable caste and suffered a lot of atrocities as a result. However, the saint chose to focus on spiritual pursuits and also penned several devotional songs which made a huge impact in the Bhakti movement during the 14th to 16th century CE. Ravidas' devotional songs were included in the 6 scriptures. Guru Granth Sahib. Source. 4. Consider the following statements. 1. Babur was the first to refer to Delhi as the capital of all Hindustan in the 16th century. 2. Mughals under Akbar shifted their capital to Agra for some time. 3. Under Shah Jahan, Delhi became the Mughal capital with the establishment of Shah Jahanabad. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. C. Babur 1483-1530, the founder of the Mughal dynasty, was the first to refer to Delhi as the capital of all Hindustan in the 16th century. Though the Mughals under Akbar 1542-1605 shifted their capital to Agra for some time, they continued to be seen as the rulers of Delhi. Finally, under Shah Jahan 1592-1666, Delhi became the Mughal capital once again with the establishment of Shah Jahanabad in 1648, what we know today as Old Delhi. Source. 5. Consider the following statements. 1. Goa became a Portuguese colony in 1510 when Admiral Alfonso de Albuquerque defeated the forces of Bijapur Sultan Yusuf Adil Shah. 2. Ram Manohar Lohia led a rally in Goa that gave a call for civil liberties and freedom and eventual integration with India. 3. Operation Blue Star led to Goa's annexation by India. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. B. 55. Statement 3 is incorrect. Goa became a Portuguese colony in 1510 when Admiral Alfonso de Albuquerque defeated the forces of Bijapur Sultan Yusuf Adil Shah. Similar to the anti-British nationalist movement in the rest of India around the 20th century, Goa started to witness an upsurge of nationalist sentiment against colonial rule in the early 20th century. In 1946, the socialist leader Ram Manohar Lohia led a historic rally in Goa that gave a call for civil liberties and freedom and eventual integration with India, which became a watershed moment in Goa's freedom struggle. December 18 and 19, 1961 saw a full-fledged military operation termed Operation Vijay, which was carried out with little resistance and an instrument of surrender was signed, leading to Goa's annexation by India. Goa would be liberated on December 19, 1961. Source. 6. During Indian freedom struggle, which of the following was known as Red Fort trials? A. Komagata Maru incident trial. B. Roulette Act trial. C. Chauri Chora incident trial. D. Indian National Army trial. Solution. D. The Indian National Army trials, also known as the INA trials and the Red Fort trials, was a British Indian trial by court-martial of a number of officers of the Indian National Army (INA) between November 1945 and May 1946 on various charges of treason, torture, murder and abetment to murder during the Second World War. Source. 7. Consider the following statements regarding Madan Lal Dhingra. 1. Madan Lal Dhingra was an Indian revolutionary who assassinated Curzon Wili. 2. He became a member of the secretive Abhinav Bharat Mandal. 3. He opposed the ideas of Vinayak Damodar Savarkar and Shyamji Krishna Varma. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. B. Statement 3 is incorrect. While studying in London, Dhingra came in contact with Vinayak Damodar Savarkar and Shyamji Krishna Varma, both active in revolutionary circles in the city. Later, he became a member of the secretive Abhinav Bharat Mandal founded by Vinayak Savarkar and his brother Ganesh. While studying in England, he assassinated William Hart Curzon Wili, a British official. Source. 56. 8. Consider the following statements. 1. The first railways in India came into being in the 1800s and were constructed and operated by private companies. 2. The Government of India Act 1935 mentioned about safety of railway operations. Which of the above statements are correct? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Solution. C. The first railways in India came into being in the 1800s and were constructed and operated by private companies. The Government of India Act 1935 set the functions for securing the safety of railway operations, both for the travelling public and personnel operating the railways should be performed by an authority independent of the Federal Railway Authority or the Railway Board. These functions included conducting railway accident probes. But due to the outbreak of the Second World War in 1939, the idea did not take off and the railway inspector continued to function under the control of the Railway Board. 9. Agriculture. 1. Consider the following statements. 1. The nutrient-based subsidy (NBS) covers fertilizer like phosphorus and potassium. 2. Urea is left out of the nutrient-based subsidy (NBS) scheme and hence it remains under price control. 3. In India, the sale of fertilizer is exempted from GST. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution. B. Statement 3 is incorrect. Nutrient-based subsidy (NBS) covers fertilizer like P&K fertilizer. Urea is left out of the scheme and hence it remains under price control, whereas technically there is no price control in other fertilizers. GST for fertilizers is 5% and GST on raw materials like sulfuric acid and ammonia are at 18%. Source. 2. Consider the following statements regarding open market sales scheme (OMSS). 1. Under the Open Market Sales Scheme, the Food Corporation of India (FCI) from time to time sells surplus food grains from the central pool in the open market to traders, bulk consumers and retail chains. 2. The main objective of OMSS is to curb food grain inflation. 3. States are not allowed to procure food grains through the OMSS. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. 57. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 3 is incorrect. Under the Open Market Sales Scheme, the FCI from time to time sells surplus food grains from the central pool, especially wheat and rice in the open market to traders, bulk consumers, retail chains, and so on. 3. Determine prices. The corporation does this through auctions where open market bidders can buy specified quantities at the prices set at the start of a cycle and revised routinely. Usually, states are also allowed to procure food grains through the OMSS without participating in the auctions for their needs beyond what they get from the central pool to distribute to NFSA beneficiaries. The idea is to activate the OMSS during the lean season, the time between harvests, to improve and regulate domestic supply and availability of the two grains and bring down their prices in the open market, essentially making the scheme a measure to curb food grain inflation. Source. 3. Consider the following statements regarding National Cooperative Consumers Federation of India (NCCF). 1. National Cooperative Consumers Federation of India (NCCF) facilitates the democratic functioning of cooperatives based on self-reliance and mutual aid for overall economic betterment and financial autonomy. 2. National Cooperative Consumers Federation of India (NCCF) is the only organization that procures vegetables to enhance buffer stock, thereby containing inflation. 3. National Cooperative Consumers Federation of India (NCCF) functions under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution A. Only statement 1 is correct. The centre enhanced the buffer stock of onion from 3 lakh tons to 5 lakh tons. The Union Consumer Affairs Department has directed the National Cooperative Consumers Federation of India (NCCF) and the National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation of India (NAFED) to procure 1 lakh ton each to achieve the additional procurement target alongside calibrated sale of the procured stocks in major consumption centres. NCCF, as an organization to promote consumer cooperative movement in the country, aspires to facilitate the voluntary formation and democratic functioning of cooperatives based on self-reliance and mutual aid for overall economic betterment and financial autonomy. It functions under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Source. 4. The government undertakes which of the following measures to ensure continuous availability of vegetables like onions to consumers at affordable prices. 1. Procurement for buffer stock. 2. Targeted release of stocks 58. 3. Imposition of export duty. Select the correct answer code at 1 2. B 1 3. C 2 3. D 1 2 3. Solution D. The measures taken by the government such as procurement for the buffer, targeted release of stocks and imposition of export duty will benefit farmers and consumers by assuring remunerative prices to onion farmers while ensuring continuous availability to consumers at affordable prices. Source. 5. Which of the following measures could be used by the government to control the sudden spike in specific food items? 1. Temporary ban on the export of inflated item. 2. Imposition of stock limit under the Essential Commodities Act to prevent hoarding. 3. Temporary prohibition on the import of inflated item. Select the correct answer code. A 1 2. B 1 3. C 1 only. D 1 2 3. Solution A. The government reviews the price situation regularly and has taken a number of measures from time to time to stabilize prices of food items. These include 1. Banning the export of inflated food item. 2. Imposition of stock limit to prevent hoarding. 3. Easing of restrictions on imports, facilitating imports at integrated checkposts, issuance of licenses for imports and reduction in import duties. This has resulted in cooling of prices. 10. Defense and security. 1. Consider the following statements regarding Railway Protection Force (RPF). 1. The RPF is an armed force under the operational and administrative control of respective state government. 2. It is tasked with protecting and securing railway property, the passenger areas, and the passengers themselves. 3. The RPF is led by Director General. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution B. Statement 1 is incorrect. 59. What is the Railway Protection Force (RPF)? The RPF is an armed force under the operational and administrative control of the Union Ministry of Railways, which is tasked with protecting and securing railway property, the passenger areas, and the passengers themselves. The RPF was set up as a consequence of the Railway Protection Force Act, 1957, enacted by Parliament to provide for the constitution and regulation of an armed force of the Union for the better protection and security of railway property and for matters connected therewith. The Act came into force after Parliament passed significant modifications to it through the Railway Protection Force Amendment Act, 1985, Act No. 60 of 1985. Rules under the Act were notified in 1987. The RPF is led by Director General. Source. 2. Which of the following is India's oldest paramilitary force? A. Border Security Force (BSF). B. Indo-Tibetan Border Police (ITBP). C. Sashastra Seema Bal (SSB). D. Assam Rifles. Solution D. The Assam Rifles is India's oldest paramilitary force. It was raised in 1835 with just 750 men. It has since fought in the two world wars in the Sino-Indian War of 1962 and has been used as an anti-insurgency force against militant groups in the northeast. The AR was raised as a special levy, a militia that would protect the estates and British settlements against raids by the tribal peoples of the northeast. The force was subsequently reorganized as the Assam Frontier Force, and its role was expanded to conduct punitive operations beyond the borders of Assam. Given its contribution in opening the northeastern region to administration and commerce, it came to be known as the right arm of the civil and left arm of the military. Source. 3. The Directorate of Enforcement is a multidisciplinary organization under the Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. The statutory functions of the Enforcement Directorate include the enforcement of which of the following acts? 1. Prevention of Money Laundering Act, 2002 PMLA. 2. Fugitive Economic Offenders Act, 2018. 3. Foreign Exchange Management Act, 1999 FEMA. Select the correct answer code. A. 1 only. B. 1 2. C. 1 3. D. 1 2 3. Solution D. The Directorate of Enforcement is a multidisciplinary organization mandated for the investigation of offense of money laundering and violations of foreign exchange laws. The statutory functions of the Directorate include enforcement of following acts. 1. The Prevention of Money Laundering Act, 2002 PMLA. It is a criminal law enacted to prevent money laundering and to provide for confiscation of property derived from or involved in money laundering and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. 60. 2. The Foreign Exchange Management Act, 1999 FEMA. It has been given the responsibility to conduct investigation into suspected contraventions of foreign exchange laws and regulations, to adjudicate and impose penalties on those adjudged to have contravened the law. 3. The Fugitive Economic Offenders Act, 2018 FEOA. It is a law whereby the Directorate is mandated to attach the properties of the fugitive economic offenders who have escaped from the India monitoring arrest and provide for the confiscation of their properties to the central government. 4. Sponsoring agency under COFEPOSA. Under the Conservation of Foreign Exchange and Prevention of Smuggling Activities Act, 1974 COFEPOSA. This Directorate is empowered to sponsor cases of preventive detention with regard to contraventions of FEMA. 11. Reports and indices. 1. Consider the following statements regarding Multidimensional Poverty Index (MPI) published by NITI Aayog. 1. Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative (OPHI) and United Nations Development Programme (UNDP) are technical partners in the formulation of the MPI. 2. India's MPI is exactly the same as the global MPI. 3. It is India's traditional and official way of estimating poverty. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution A. Only statement 1 is correct. The index is based on the methodology used by the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative (OPHI) and United Nations Development Programme (UNDP) to construct the global MPI. OPHI and UNDP are technical partners in the formulation of the national index. But India's MPI is not exactly the same as the global MPI. For instance, India's MPI has 12 variables, while the global MPI has 10. The two additional variables in India's MPI are material health and bank account. It must be noted that this is a multidimensional poverty index and, as such, is not comparable to India's traditional and official way of estimating poverty. Source. 2. The National Multidimensional Poverty Index (MPI) measures deprivations across the 3 dimensions of health and nutrition, education, and standard of living. Within health, it tracks which of the following variables? 1. Child and adolescent mortality. 2. Sanitation. 3. Maternal health. 4. Nutrition. 5. Drinking water. How many of the above options are correct? A. Only 2. B. Only 3. C. Only 4. D. All 5. 61. Solution B. Options 1, 3 and 4 are correct. The National MPI measures deprivations across the 3 dimensions of health and nutrition, education, and standard of living. Within health, it tracks 3 variables: nutrition, child and adolescent mortality, and maternal health. In education, it tracks 2 variables: years of schooling and school attendance. And in standard of living, it tracks 7 variables such as sanitation, drinking water, bank account, etc. Source: 12. Maps places. 1. The border between India and Myanmar runs along 1. Mizoram. 2. Nagaland. 3. Manipur. 4. Arunachal Pradesh. 5. Tripura. How many of the above options are correct? A. Only 2. B. Only 3. C. Only 4. D. All 5. Solution: C. Option 5 is incorrect. The border between India and Myanmar runs for 1,643 kilometers in the 4 states of Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland, and Arunachal Pradesh. 2. Arrange the following islands from south to north. 1. Takeshima Island. 2. Kuril Island. 3. Senkaku Island. Select the correct answer code. A. 213. B. 132. C. 312. D. 321. Solution: C. 62. 3. The island of Maui, that was hit by multiple wildfires, is located in Japan. B. Indonesia. C. Hawaii. D. Alaska. Solution: C. In one of the worst natural disasters to hit the US, multiple wildfires are raging through Hawaii, especially the island of Maui. Maui is one of the 8 main islands that make up the archipelago of Hawaii. Source: 4. Which of the following countries does not border Saudi Arabia? 1. Egypt. 2. Iran. 3. Sudan. 4. Jordan. Select the correct answer code. A. 1 2. B. 1 2 3. C. 1 2 4. D. 2 3 4. Solution: B. 5. Consider the following statements regarding Danube River. 1. The Danube is the longest river in Europe. 2. Originating in Germany, the Danube River drains into the Black Sea. 3. It flows through Vienna, Budapest, and Belgrade. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 163. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution: B. Statement 1 is incorrect. The Danube is the second longest river in Europe. Originating in Germany, the Danube River drains into the Black Sea. Among the many cities on the river are 4 national capitals: Vienna, Bratislava, Budapest, and Belgrade. Source: 13. Miscellaneous. 1. Consider the following statements regarding tail strike. 1. A tail strike refers to an incident where the tail of an aircraft hits the ground or strikes any other stationary object. 2. 90% of the tail strikes occur during takeoff of an aircraft. 3. Tail strikes does not cause any damage to the aircraft. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1. B. Only 2. C. All 3. D. None. Solution: A. Only statement 1 is correct. A tail strike refers to an incident where the tail of an aircraft hits the ground or strikes any other stationary object. While tail strikes can occur during takeoff, a majority happen during the landing of an aircraft. According to Airbus statistical data, over 65% of tail strikes happen during landings. Tail strikes can cause significant damage to the aircraft, with major repairs needed to restore the plane's structural integrity. Even in cases where the damage is not major or immediately obvious, thorough inspections are carried out before the aircraft is declared fit to fly again. Source: 2. Gujars and Bekavals are the dominant ST communities in Jharkhand. B. Orissa. C. Jammu and Kashmir. D. Sikkim. Solution: C. 64. The dominant ST communities in J&K are the Gujars and Bekavals, who mainly live in the districts of Rajouri, Poonch, Rasi, Kishwar, Anantnag, Bandipra, Gandewal, and Kupwara. Most of them, especially the Bekavals, are nomadic. They migrate with their livestock to the higher reaches in the summer and return before the onset of winter. With a population of almost 18 lakh, the Gujar Bekawal are the third largest group after Kashmiris and Dogras in J&K. They were given ST status in 1991, along with the 2 smaller groups of Gaddis and Sippis. Source: 3. Vishaka Guidelines, sometimes seen in news, is related to improving child sex ratio, CSR. B. Raising legal age of marriage for women. C. Assisted reproductive technology. D. Sexual harassment of women at workplace. Solution: D. The Vishaka Guidelines were a set of procedural guidelines for use in India in cases of sexual harassment. They were promulgated by the Indian Supreme Court in 1997 and were superseded in 2013 by the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act. 4. The Nehru Trophy boat race is an annual traditional boat race held in the Vembanad Lake. B. Kodaikanal Lake. C. Koleru Lake. D. Pulamada Lake. Solution: D. The Nehru Trophy boat race is an annual Vallamkali held in the Pulamada Lake near Alappuzha, Kerala. Source: 65.